Hello, guys, and welcome back to Everything New York Jets. Today I'm going to do a 7 round mock draft, but before I get into it, I do want to say a few things. I haven't uploaded in like 20 days, and I apologize. I've been extremely busy, but we're back at it, and the draft is only 6 days away, so I'm extremely excited. And then the second thing I want to say, I'm going to actually put certain rules for this draft. And the first thing is I had the last 2 3 round mock drafts I've done. I'm gonna try to not select any of the players I've selected in them to kind of diversify who I've been selecting in the mock drafts, except for Zach Wilson. I'm still gonna select him number 2. And the second rule is I'm gonna try to be as accurate as possible to what I think Joe Douglas will do. So some of these moves maybe I don't agree with. Maybe I'll have a little bit more defensive players in the mix, and I would want to draft, but that's how it is, and so let's get right into it. So with the number 2 pick, it's no surprise. I have the Jets selecting Zach Wilson, and to me, he's going to be the best available option the Jets will have at number 2. I think he's going to be the best QB there to select, and to me, it just makes so much sense. He fits the scheme that we're going to have next year. He's able, in BYU, play action, bootlegs. That's exactly what the scheme's going to have. A lot of play action. He's able to make off-platform throws. And to me, I think it makes so much sense. Obviously, we know they're going to reset the QB clock with whoever the pick is, but just being able to reset the QB contract too, it's so important to get your franchise QBs on rookie contracts when you want to make a push. You're able to spend the salary cap. You have flexibility. You don't. Your quarterback doesn't take over 40% of the cap space. Like, we're gonna see that with the Cowboys. They just paid Dak Prescott like 40% of the cap space. I wonder how they're gonna construct a team around him. How they're gonna get defensive players because you don't have much cap flexibility, and so I'm really excited in that aspect, just having cap flexibility. But really, 4 years, you're gonna have 4 years on the rookie contract and an extra year on the fifth year option. So let's get right into the other picks. Next up, I actually have the Jets like Tevin Jenkins, but this is a little different because I'm going to have him trade up, I don't know, around 6 spots, I'll say in this scenario, to Las Vegas Raiders. And the reason why I have him trading up, in Joe Douglas' press conference, he said he has a trade in place in case a player they want drops. And to me, I think offensive line when he says that, because last year he said he had a trade in place with the Jaguars if there was only one O lineman left. So Joe Douglas values O lineman and he's willing to move up for O lineman, and he's a guy who usually likes to collect as many picks as possible. So I think it makes sense for him to say he's going to trade up, possibly in this draft if the guy falls and the guy's an O lineman. So I think there's multiple people who he's looking to trade up for. I know Elijah Vera Tucker's a guy a lot of people like, but I don't know if he's going to, be I think he's going to be too expensive to trade up for Joe Douglas's liking. I think he's going to go, I don't know, top 15. And, I mean, I guess this is, we're going to 17, but I don't know if Elijah Vera Tucker is going to be there to where we might have to give up the Seattle Seahawks future first round pick. So to me, this makes sense because you're giving up like a future third or a future fourth and some other leader pick. So it's not too expensive, and you're still going to get a guy who I really like in Tevin Jenkins. And Tevin Jenkins, he wants to maul absolutely everyone in the run game. He's extremely quick, agile, and to me, I think he's going to become a guard in the NFL. And the reason I say that is having long arms is extremely important for being an offensive tackle. And, he has probably, I think, the shortest arms out of all the tackles in this entire draft. So I don't know how that's going to project to the next level. And so I think he's going to kick in and guard. And to me, I don't really care if he kicks into guard because we need a guard desperately. And I think he's going to fit it perfectly. And I really do think Joe Douglas, if he's trading up, he's going to trade up for Tevin Jenkins. This pick is one that I would think, not necessarily I would do, because I want to focus on the offensive line, but I think it's going to be a pick that Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh make, and it's Jabril Cox, LSU linebacker. And to me, he's a he can good pursue, he's a good tackler, he can get to the whoever has the ball and tackle him, but the main thing which he excels in is zone coverage and man coverage. And it's super important because we know Robert Saleh's defense. He likes to play a lot of zone, and so I think he would be a really nice linebacker the Jets could add to the defense. But I also think we're gonna see more defensive picks like a Jabril Cox in the NFL draft than a lot of people want. And to me, I want to focus primarily on offense. But again, I think it's very possible Jets go defense in the second round. I don't know if they're going to go offense 3 times in a row, but I will, add more offensive players later on. But Jabril Cox, LSU, I think we're going to possibly draft a linebacker earlier in the draft or later, but I think we're going to draft one in the draft. And with the first pick in the third round, I have the Jets selecting another defensive player, cornerback Tyson Campbell from Georgia. And again, like I was saying, I think with Robert Saleh, a defensive head coach, we're going to see kind of a even mixture of defensive and offensive players. And although I'm all for just drafting as many offensive players and trying to create an explosive, dynamic offense and surround Zach Wilson, I don't know if the Jets are going to fully do that. And so I have Tyson Campbell. I'll just go into him. He's tall, right? He's 6 foot, 6'1", around that range. So very nice height for a corner. He's extremely physically and athletically strong. And the main thing with him is his hips are extremely fluid. If a wide receiver is going one way and goes the other, he can flip his hips and follow him, and that's really great to see. I think, anyways, with Robert Saleh, he Tyson Campbell is seen as a little bit of a raw prospect, but with Robert Saleh, you can take those players and expect him to develop it because he is a defensive head coach. That is what he does, and I would expect the Jets to select a lot of high upside defensive players too in the draft if they don't select the players I'm talking about, because again, Robert Saleh can develop these players. So in the second pick in the third round, I have the New York Jets selecting one of my favorite sleepers in the draft, Jackson Carman, offensive tackle from Clemson. Now, even though he's an offensive tackle, I think he would fit as a guard, put him alongside Mekhi Becton, and you have something special, right? He's big, he's strong, he's athletic. The main knocks on him are just technique wise. He's not great technique wise. He's not great able to identify the stunts, and so yeah, it's gonna take a little bit of developing. But the upside on this guy is absolutely insane, considering we can draft him late third round, maybe even early fourth round. Another guy who I like, who could be kind of that high upside player, is Walker Little, but I don't know if he's going to go first round, second round, third round. I just don't know where he's going to go because he hasn't played football in something like 2 or 3 years or something like that. He's had a lot of injuries. Before I get into the fourth round selection, I do want to apologize for not having video clips for all the prospects. It's hard to get video clips that don't get copyrighted, and I don't want to get blocked or anything, because then what's the point of making a video? So anyways, in the fourth round, Anthony Schwartz, wide receiver out of Auburn, he's one of the fastest guys in this draft from the wide receiver position. He ran a 4.26 40-yard dash, and so he is blazing fast, and that's what the Jets need in their wide receiver room. They need speed, speed, and more speed. I really like Denzel Mims, Corey Davis. They're nice physical wide receivers. Jamison Crowder's nice from the slot, but we need a guy who can really burn people, and that's what you get from Anthony Schwartz. We need to add depth to this wide receiver room. I think we did a good job in free agency getting Keelan Cole, getting Corey Davis, and this is a nice little addition to the wide receiver room, and I think this is going to be a nice weapon for Zach Wilson to have. We want to be able to surround Zach Wilson with what Sam Darnold didn't have, and so I think this is a step in the right direction. And I think when you take a good amount of defensive players in the first 3 rounds, you have to make up with it with selecting a good amount of offensive players in the later rounds. With the first pick in the fifth round, I have the New York Jets selecting Javion Hawkins, running back out of Louisville. He's 5'8", 193 pounds, and he ran a 4.4 40-yard dash. So he's extremely fast, and he fits this offense because in this offense you want a lot of rotational running backs, and that's what he's going to provide. And the running backs have to, they're one cut and they're gone. They have to find the hole, and they need to be as fast as possible and get as many yards as possible. He's not a guy that's going to, truck people or he's going to stiff arm people. That's not what he is. He's a guy who's just going to outrun people. And with him, it's important to know you're going to draft him. He's going to play 4 years, and then that's it. These are the kind of running backs I think the Jets are going to get year after year. Players who are going to come in the system for 4 years. You're going to use them as much as you can, and then you're not going to re-sign him because he's not a durable guy. He's 5'8", and that's what's going to happen to those type of running backs. They're extremely small, but they're extremely fast. With the second pick in the 5th round, I have the New York Jets selecting Shaka Toney, edge rusher from Penn State. He's around, I want to say, 240 pounds and 6'1" or 6'2". And he's a guy who has great speed off his first step, but that's, he's not technically, dominating anyone. Athletically, he's not necessarily dominating anyone. He does have a nice first step and nothing else, but he's going to be a nice rotational guy, I think, for the Jets. And he's a guy who, again, maybe Robert Saleh can develop. I would really look to go with defensive players late in the draft if we're going to go defensive players, because that's what Robert Saleh is going to have to do. He's going to have to be able to develop these players. That's what you get with a specialized defensive head coach. To me, he's going to be a nice rotational guy who can maybe get a good amount of snaps for us at edge. With the first pick in the 6th round, I have the Jets selecting Kylan Granson, tight end. He's going to be a nice rotational piece for the New York Jets. Just going to be a nice depth piece at the tight end position. He's not necessarily a blocking tight end, more of a good catching tight end, and he's just going to be able to back up Chris Herndon, hopefully, and provide good depth. The last pick in the draft, I have the Jets selecting Antonio Phillips, cornerback. To me, he's just gonna be again a nice rotational depth piece. He played primarily zone in college, so that's what you're gonna get right with Robert Saleh's defense. A lot of zone coverage, so he's gonna be a nice rotational piece, and he's gonna fit the scheme.